did the other day at Mark's was we put one of those loud valves on the downpipe and put a 3-inch Flowmaster. Well, we modified it to be a 3-inch Flowmaster, but it was a muffler we had laying around, which I don't know if it's necessarily quiet enough, but it took a lot of the raspiness and clappiness out of the exhaust that I didn't like. And now when I hit about 6-10 pounds of boost, I'm gonna do some testing I want to see on video and on the dyno and other stuff. But when I hit a certain amount of boost, it opens the valve at the downpipe. Look at all these jackasses. Anyway, they all know the road ends, so they just drive alongside traffic until the road ends at the police barracks. Anyway, I put the dump valve on, so it doesn't matter how restrictive the exhaust is to a point, because that's going to open and bypass basically everything. I mean, some exhaust gas is still going to go out the muffler, I would assume, but you know, maybe 20% instead of the 80% that's dumping out. So you can get away with a quieter, you know, more relaxed 130 degree coolant temp. The other day I put the ethanol sensor in this thing on the return line, since I pretty much replaced the entire feed and part of the return. So I hooped it, put the ethanol sensor in it I got from a friend. So now I have ethanol content, which is about 43%. I was close to a half a tank and filled up on ethanol just to see how the sensor would work and everything else. And just for fun, do some blended fuel tuning and, you know, screw around. Also, primarily my use for ethanol is E85 is because it smells better than gasoline. Gasoline stinks. My garage stinks, my clothes smell when I get home from the dyno. So the E85 has a much better smell. And I wanted to do some driving around. You can hear how it's quiet. I mean, it's a Flowmaster, so it has this stupid rumbly, you know, Flowmaster sound. But other than that, you can hear it skates all over. That's on low boost. That's 5 pounds of boost or so. But you can hear just all turbo, and then you can start to hear this whoa, and that's the valve opening in the exhaust. Well, the wastegate and the dump valve are right next to each other, so they tandem just dump exhaust gas out there, you know, no muffler or anything else. I was gonna say, hopefully you stop. But now, like, you can, it's very mild now. It just sounds like, you know, it sounds like a V8 at idle, but it sounds like it just has a muffler. So it's pretty unassuming, other than the turbo whistle that happens also. And the 4-port boost controller is working good. Yesterday or the other day I delivered a motor. I posted that on the sloppy page too. I had a motor all the way in the back. I always load cargo all the way in the back of the tailgate to put as much weight as possible over the tires. It's not always the smartest because it's farthest away and whatever, load balancing, but I have no weight, so I throw it all the way in the back. And then what I ended up doing was I have the bed filled with some shit and the motor in the back, and I drove it over to my friend's house to deliver the motor, and I turned this up to about 7, and I was making about 12 pounds over, like, it makes like 4 or 5 now with the muffler on it. Well, always made about 5, so makes about 12 on 7. That's as far as I wanted to go for now. But it's funny, as soon as that motor is gone, I just skate all over the place. It's still a total animal. But I know a lot of people wanted to hear, you know, just part of this project being fun is everybody gets to check it out on video and whatnot. I feel like a lot of them have been in the garage screwing around in there, so figured I would do some driving around. Let me crack my window, we can hear a little bit of whoosh whoosh. It was already just a little starting to wheel spin there. And this is a, you know, fire department and whatnot, so try not to blow past them. Yeah, we'll take a look. 5 pounds of boost. While we're at it, we'll see how far my duty cycle, you know, how deep my injectors are going with this 50% E85 mix. I'll do a data log and then read it when I get home. Make sure you pick a good area to not pay attention while you're driving. Like 5.6 was like 8 pounds of boost. 8 or 10. 7 was 12. So I'll come up to this traffic light. Hopefully, I'm checking down here. It looks like I have a decent angle here out the window. You should be able to see. That's with the window open and everything. And when I pull out of here, there's a concrete barrier, so I'll be driving alongside the concrete barrier, so you'll get a good sound of how this thing sounds, you know. I think I'm just going to install a Harbor Freight boost gauge I have left over from my 3/4 ton pickup truck in this thing, so I can just keep an eye on it every now and then. Yeah, 43% ethanol, 45-degree fuel temperature. Boost controller is at 46%. Coolant temp 160. Let's roll into it in third. That's third. Woo! Now you hear how quiet it is? Versus when I rolled into it alongside the concrete there. That was about 9 or 10 pounds of boost. I had like an 1130 air fuel. So that's good. I have enough fuel for that kind of shenanigans. I don't even know if I got the throttle all the way down, but I don't think I spun. But it's feeling good. I don't care if I knocked a little bit of power out with this exhaust because it's so much more mild, it's nice to drive around. That's third. That's fourth. It's a little bit bumbly. That's a lockup. Fourth gear locked. It's a little blah, 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 but that's, you know, Flowmaster trademark shit right there. Every hillbilly wants it to be blubby. So it's what we had laying around at the time. I may get like some sort of straight pass-through perforated, you know, muffler, not a bullet, but a muffler to, you know, just take out the rasp and clap that this did and maybe make it even quieter, you know, mess around a little bit. But it's funny, the Flowmaster drones more than the straight 3-inch pipe did, but again, that's just part of the game, isn't it? We'll try 12 pounds. We'll go for 7 here, and we'll run down here on 12 pounds. We'll see what the air fuel is like. See if it spins. 2. Third. Roll in. Yeah, it was burning the tires, but I had a good air fuel ratio. Let me roll into it at a higher speed here. Yeah, it's still burning the tires. We're gonna have to see how much boost and whatnot that was, but before it was only about 12. But nice to know I have fuel even with 50% ethanol, replacing that line. Well, roughly 50% ethanol, 42.9%. And then other people are going to argue that that's not a content sensor, that's a absence of water estimating alcohol percentage sensor. But you know, who gives a fuck? Haltech and everybody else is using it, so it can't suck that bad, right? It's nice to know I can run, you know, medium amount of boost on an ethanol blend. Screw around with fuel percentages and everything else. Ooh. That 1-2 kick, guys. Now I turned the boost all the way back down. So this is on like 5 pounds here. Oh yeah. That's how you get it done. On 29-inch tires. Just pedal it up the hill and around the bend, you know. It's like walking a dog. 3,500 pound white Colorado dog. I'm very pleased how everything is working so far. I'll keep creeping up on my level of boost. Well, I was a little foolish the first times, and it cost me, you know, the piston and the downtime, and now I'm nervous. It sucks when you know, I put about 1,000 miles or more and 0 issues, and then you go and you blip something, you make a mistake and you hurt it yourself, and then you don't trust the vehicle even though, you know, I hurt it. It's my fault. It's just one of those things. Man, it stinks like ethanol in here. Pretty neat. Much better than weird, shitty pump gas smell, that's for sure. But we'll go from there. We'll see how everything works out. See how much injector I have left. You know, mess around. I should see, you know, I replaced the entire fuel feed, parts of the return. I should have much more fuel flow now. I shouldn't have a problem making 700 again on straight gasoline. So that's mostly what I'm interested in seeing, is all of that. And if I have fuel troubles again coming up, you know, I don't know. I think I'll just leave it go for a while. I already have, I mean, too much power. I can't even use all of this. I want to get to the track and turn it up there and see what happens. I may install a methanol kit, alcohol injection, you know, water mist, whatever. I buy cooling mist kits, I like those, but that will give me some supplemental fuel also. But I think I'm gonna have trouble hooking even with the tires, so we're gonna mess around with that stuff before I come back up on horsepower. And like I said, I may have actually hurt my fuel pump running it, you know, where it was bypassing and capped through the stupid inlet hole for so long. I may have hurt it, so I may have to replace my fuel pump to get over those horsepower levels. But I'm just assuming that it's so good otherwise that the fuel pump's fine and it was just the feed. So we will go from there. But that's a nice quick drive around and some burnouts for you guys.